Welcome to the Outer Realms with Michelle Desrochers and Amelia Pisano. Airing live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Thursday night segment of The Outer Realm. We are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network, UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 from the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM from New Orleans. We are fully sponsored by the amazing folks over at Folgers Coffee, who have been on this journey with us since the very beginning. So big thank you to Folgers. We appreciate you so very much. Also, big thank you to Dr. Snick, the sonic surgeon, aka Justin Snicker, for the contribution of his time, his music, and his voice for the intro that you just heard. He's an award-winning composer of Halloween, horror, sci-fi, and dark wave electronic music, which can be found on any of your favorite music platforms. Also, big thank you to Steve McGinnis, the artist behind the banners and logos here at the show. Check him out on Facebook and Instagram. He also specializes in the horror genre, but does phenomenal commission pieces. So, advertising time. The Outer Realm and United Public Radio are pleased to be proud sponsors of the upcoming event Contact and Disclosure Symposium 2024, which takes place in Toronto, Ontario. And this is at the Off-World Bar. Yep, full day thing. They have great speakers. We will flash up the website throughout the show just so people could go check them out because it is coming up quick. Also, the Outer Realm is happy to announce, of course, for the second year running, that we are sponsoring again the Halifax Paranormal Symposium. It's going to be held Saturday, October the 12th. And it's going to be a whole lot of fun. Last year was completely amazing. And its director, which is Dr. Elliot Van Dusen, you guys can check him out with Dr. Jana Greenberg every Tuesday night on Science and Paranormal. So it gives you a little bit of an idea what to expect, because I believe Elliot will be speaking as well. So in order to communicate with us and our guest, of course, which we all know Joe doesn't really need much of an introduction. He's shaking his head at me. But yeah, but he is our dear friend, even if he's in the doghouse right now. He's like a dear friend, and he's owner of the network. He's our producer. He's
I was on mute because I was laughing too hard.
I know. And we thought it'd be fun to do this kind of like round table talk, and because he's like Mr. UFO, ET. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. But wherever the conversation takes us, however, you guys have to be in one of our 7 chat rooms. We are on Roku TV. They do not have a chat room. And remember to check out Roku TV also for the show archive, along with a lot of other archives. Mm-hmm. So don't just limit yourself to the computer. Just get on the TV, see it on the big screen. Good for you, not always good for us.
Yeah, especially when I have days that are much makeup. Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, without further ado, come on, Jojo. Bam. There we are.
Yeah. See, look, why am I so light and the rest of y'all are so dark? See, I'm light, they're dark. See,
that's evil. Right. And you should remember that.
Yeah.
That can work against you, actually.
You should remind yourself with like maybe a bumper sticker or something.
Yeah.
It's just remember what we're capable of while you're
there. It's funny. We were talking about y'all just the other night.
What we're capable of doing to you? Yeah.
No. So this
worked for you.
So I was on a. Well, I can't mention this show or the radio station, but anyway, I was on a paranormal show on another radio network, and so we yapping away, and Bruce goes, "Well, Joe, you're like the paranormal king." I said, "What are you talking about? I do ufology." He said, "Dude, you've had a radio station, a paranormal radio station for 25 years with the top people in the field." He said, "How can you not be one of the top paranormal researchers?" He said, "You probably know more than most of the people in the field." I said, no, I don't. I said, don't get me started on paranormal. Let's just move on to something.
Yeah, unfortunately, Joe doesn't tune in.
I do.
And on many levels, actually.
No,
That's what I meant.
I listen to
why
most.
we work together.
Matter of fact, I was thinking, we have a new show on the network. What is it? What's CL's show's name? I listen to
the Gateway Podcast. CL Thomas.
Yeah, she's really
nights
good.
at 9 Eastern.
She's a pretty good paranormal girl. I've been tuning in. Well, I listen to her.
Really good.
She's had some pretty good guests on, and I've been enjoying it. Well, people, you can't expect me to listen to every show on the network. I'd go insane, people. Jesus.
Well, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot.
Well, the network has grown exponentially, and we have new shows coming up also.
Why is Joe in black and white, though?
We also have new TV ventures coming up, too. We can't talk about this here, but we will talk about it later. Let's just say... I don't want to say it like this. Let's just say Joe was in a bad mood today and called the TV network.
Yeah. Michelle was also in a bad mood today. Funny that.
Yes. I don't know why. You shows are good.
I don't know either.
I feel like the child of two fighting parents.
You'll hear all about it.
You guys have no idea. Like, seriously, I feel like my parents...
I know. Well, you had good numbers. All your shows are featured. I don't know what you want. I mean, what else you want?
I don't know. Maybe like yesterday's on there, because I couldn't find it for over 24 hours.
We'll figure it all out. That's for after show time.
No, I just want to ask you a question. Like, seriously,
don't want to embarrass our guests now, do we?
Yes. Seriously, JoJo, you're in gray. And I feel like I'm watching an episode of
first off, y'all can't even gripe me. We didn't even have power yesterday. So don't gripe at me.
Okay, hold on a second.
We love power about 8:30.
Your face is reading green in your color too. Purple. But you look black and white. Like
it's always purple.
Your face?
Purple, yes. It's the alien blood. It makes it purple. That's why I wear the purple shirts. It pulls away.
It's green right now.
It pulls.
How come your whole set is black and white? Am I missing my green mind?
I don't know. It's I don't know. Maybe
like Kermit the Frog.
Obviously, you can see the color in all the books.
That's it, though. Your glasses, and that's it.
That's. I don't know. You can see this is blue.
No, it's gray.
No, it's blue. I can see it in the thing.
Oh my God! Can we just get on with the show?
No, I'm just in shock. Your paintings look great, and
I don't actually. You're right. Actually, it does look kind of gray behind me. Maybe the camera.
Of course, I'm right. Yeah.
It's maybe there's some scary stuff in my office moving around, floating around that you girls didn't get rid of.
You're welcome.
You see, I blame them instantly. You've seen that, right?
That's all right. I'll take the blame.
There's evilness in my office. Just for that,
must have been all that bad.
Just for that, I'm gonna have to do a free promotion now.
Yeah, whatever. So
we
tonight,
can't see the can, so we're good.
Tonight's like round table talk, and we thought, because we've talked about a lot of stuff on the show. Even that in Gray Zone. People pretty much know, the gist of how much information that you have locked up inside that little
too much
hybrid brain of yours, as you say. But
the fake chat room.
I know. But you know what? We've never talked really a whole lot about Indigo Children, Star Children, about their place here on the planet, what the next wave is supposed to be doing, what their role is here. There's a lot of stuff we can touch on.
Well, since they're alien children, I just figured that they're going to taste good. Make a little filet mignon.
You'll just eat anything if it's not nailed down. I swear to God.
Not humans, just aliens. You can't eat humans.
No.
No long pork, just aliens. Just those aliens out there. It's for me, a lot of them are the same thing, because when they talk about indigos or they talk about star children, basically the same thing. Indigo children and star children. I don't know why they make such a big deal out of it, but really and truly, that's what they are. It's not, everybody wants to get all fancy dancy, but when you put it right down to it, well, where did indigo children come? Oh, that's right. They come from the stars like the other ones do. Mm-hmm. For me, it's all kind of the same, because I look at it a little bit differently. I'm looking at what may be hybrids, what may not be hybrids. Why would they even leave hybrids on the planet? After Rachel's eyes, after looking at Rachel's daughter, you would have to wonder why they'd even attempt to leave a hybrid. That poor girl suffered. She was here. She couldn't eat normal human food. They used to have to escort her in and out of school, bring her special food. She looked
Oh, she looked like very high, like very alien. Very much.
I mean, you could. I mean, when her mom, when she was describing her to me, I was like, wow. And I said, well, she said, well, yeah, she looked like my daughter, but just because she's been my daughter all my life. She said, but when she's in school, she just looks, she stands out. And of course,
Right.
you know, kids are whatever ages they are, they're going to be, you know, and want to torture or aggravate or, you know, irritate people.
Well, for sure. But you could tell she's very unique in her
Yeah,
appearance.
she's
Is the
very
best
unique.
way to put it.
I
Yes.
don't think
And
I've ever seen her.
she had very, very keen abilities. Somewhere along the line, I don't even think she got out of college, but somewhere along the line, they came and took her.
Yeah, I was going to say, didn't she just like
Yeah, they just
disappear
came
one
and
day,
took her.
gone?
Now, there's always been an argument: did ET take her, or did the government take her? Because you know,
Yes.
ET left her here, and you know, ET usually doesn't leave hybrids behind because of stuff like this.
Right.
So you have to wonder: was this an experience, and was this actually an alien experience, or was this our government using this woman with some type of alien DNA to try to create their own hybrid? Because I mean, the government knew about it from day one. I mean, when you look. They escorted her in and out of school. She always had some kind of support group. She had special food that was coming from the government.
But it was human escorts, right? Like
Yeah,
military.
it was all
So
U.S. government, or
right.
well, we whatever the government, whatever they call the projects. But so the deep down, I always thought maybe this was something in some lab somewhere. They impregnated this woman with some type of alien DNA to see what they would get.
Right.
Because I could never understand why ET just didn't intervene or come take the child or modify the child.
Right.
And well, it wasn't their child. I'm not even 100% sure if they were aware of the child until later on.
Right.
And then again, did they come get it? I don't know. Maybe they did. But for me, if I had to bet money on it, I would think that the government came and took her.
I would lean to that also.
That's some damn Canadians. What can I say?
Because no, yeah, well, no, it would make sense. I think you are correct when you say that were they possibly the ones that were instrumental in her creation, her existence. It would make sense why they were watching her so closely. It would make sense why ET did not intervene. And if it was an experiment, I tend to wonder, you know, why? Because there are hybrids walking among us, and correct me if I'm wrong, who pretty much just look like you, me, Bubbles. Yeah, you're just everyday people.
So I hate using the word hybrid because I mean technically they are hybrids, but for us, so let's say that one of y'all's children was a hybrid. And when I mean this, I don't mean that ET came down and directly did this or that. Somewhere in the gene loan, somewhere along the line, it could have been in directly in your genes, or it could have been up earlier in someone's genes in your family. But regardless, somewhere in there was enough of the gene still left over. So when the child was born, it leaned more ET than it leans human.
Okay, well then let me ask you this. Why are there so many stories about people, even right now, experiencers, contactees, who say, no, I was impregnated, like recently, you know, in the last couple of decades, even there's a lot of people, even men, who say, they took my sperm. Like it's still happening today.
Well, it is still happening today, but so somewhere in the 90s, we gave up on this. Not technically. I mean, there's still a research project on the site, but we had gone over almost 6,000 cases, or 6,000 doctors actually. These are the cases that we actually considered legit, and we called and asked because the woman told us, I took the test, I was pregnant.
Right.
Half of these women had ultrasounds. The baby was there. So I asked the doctor, I asked it, you know, we had permission. We called the doctor, and I asked the doctor, you know, was it a spontaneous abortion? Was it this? Was it this? We had a whole list of questions we asked. And the doctor said, no. He said, as far as I can tell, she wasn't pregnant, even though, these are quotes, that I knew she was pregnant. She was not just the baby was gone, but all the hormones were back in balance. And it was like it had never happened. So this is not any human technology. We don't possess, even today, we don't possess this technology, or our planet would be a much happier planet. So obviously,
there'd be no menopause.
Well, yeah, Dad, see that alone. I mean, so for men or women, for that matter. So it's at this point, it just you have to. So when you get back to the hybrids, you wonder, okay, we know that they're producing these children are being born because of whatever this gene is, and we know from time to time they interject a little bit more. But once a child leans to a certain point, so let's say they show telekinesis, they're gone. They're not going to kill them. I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea, but they're going to take them. And I'm not talking about our government. They're not going to allow our government to have anybody that possesses the power of telekinesis, especially long range. We're not going to let leaders get their little arteries squished out every day and watch them die around the world. No. We're not quite ready for this technology yet. But they also watch to see how much you project, how your telepathic abilities are, how you're using your telepathic. So at one point, they want you developing your telepathic abilities. They really do. They want you to be able to sense things. They want you to use your empathic abilities. They want to know. They also want you to learn when it's your emotions and not someone else's emotions. And they also want you to know when you're sending and causing other problems without realizing. Because distraught people, people in distress, people for different reasons can just send it out in a wave. So if you're even a reasonably decent empath, I mean, just reasonably, your whole freaking neighborhood could go from laughing at TV to bawling their eyes out and not even have a freaking understanding what happened to them just then. And it's just because that one individual, if this is like a super telepath, that's a whole region. And we've seen that happen in this country before. So they were talking about this in the early 2000s, how the West Coast regions always seem to be depressed for about, the majority of people seem to be depressed for about 10 years. And then it switched to the East Coast region. So whatever it was, it seems to be moved out of play. But, they want you to develop but even those abilities, when they get to a certain point, they have to take you. Because if you can start using your telepathy to start controlling people, that's a no-no. They don't want you going into somebody's head is one thing, going into somebody's head and changing things around or making them do what you want. Like, please make a donation to the United Public Radio of everything you have in your bank account. No, that's bad. Now you say, oh, make a donation of $100. They might let that slide, but you get greedy, they're gonna come looking for you.
No, I think I'm guilty of the only time doing that was because somebody obnoxious was across from me in a restaurant and the whole table was obnoxious. Like they were irritating everybody. That's the only time.
But it happened.
I did it for the good of humanity and for everyone else enjoying their food.
It's funny. My friends ask me, you just text me at the weirdest times. I said, yeah, because I just I don't tell them. Well, something like y'all, I'll probably tell y'all. But like sometimes when I just text you out of the blue, it's just because I just picked up something. Whatever it may be, it's just if it's a blue text for no reason, then hey, what you doing? How you feeling? That's because I just sent something. That's all.
Really, and when you say, "Hey, brat, what are you doing?" What does that mean?
That's to get you fired up to say something like, "What do you want, asshole?" Well, excuse my language.
Okay, let me change my response. Give me a minute.
Anyway, but those are because. Once you start to learn you have the abilities and you learn that you can start using abilities, and whoever sent me that email earlier today, or was it yesterday, about telepathic abilities don't exist. Well, they do. I agree that not everyone possesses them. I'm not one of the ones that say everybody possesses them because I've tested so many people now that I know it's not true. But the ones that do have them. And if you don't believe me, just ask the Navy or the Air Force, because they're actually actively recruiting people with advanced telepathic abilities. Of their words, not mine. They started doing, I think it was 2002 or 2004. So they are actually looking for people who have these abilities. If you're good, if you're a good telepath, you can probably get a high paying job, probably working for one of these.
Sure. Or just go freaking missing.
I was just going to say, never.
Right?
No. You'll probably get a cush job.
Yeah.
No.
I
haven't been able to do any of that in years.
Yeah,
So
I'm
not.
I don't know about any of that.
You're talking to here.
Never did anything like that. I was just making a joke.
They usually give these people cush jobs, beautiful apartments, penthouse.
And as long as you play ball, you just keep getting spoiled. If you don't,
call you
you're
up in
just
the morning.
MIA.
Well, you also have to remember, with those abilities comes a great responsibility, and that being karma as well.
Somebody just or Friday night,
you're intruding.
How Donald Trump was an empath. I'm like, I said, well, don't take this the wrong way. I said, I have personally not sensed or seen anything that I would consider empathic. Not to say he's not. I'm not hating.
You
I-
can't be
I
a
don't know.
narcissist and an empath at the same
Right.
time.
You
And I'm
know,
not
so-
hating on Trump. This isn't political. This is personality.
but I just,
Because most
usually
politicians are
people think-
narcissists.
Yeah, most of them are.
Yeah.
And then somebody asked me, who would, if you had to pick a president, who would you think? I was like, so we're not even going there, my friend.
No, that's for news on the flip side on a Friday night.
It's interesting to see where people want to
Right.
take this, and it's
Yeah.
also interesting to see how people want to pervert telepathic and empathic abilities. And when I say that, I mean this in a couple of ways, which
I'm not
one we
laughing.
can't one we can't discuss in this show, but people use these abilities to gain money, to gain influence, to get over on people, to get their way with people. It's easier to win an argument when you know what the answer is going to be before every question. It just is.
But there's one thing people forget, and that is your own human emotion into play and ego and play with that. So it doesn't always work.
You
It
have
doesn't
to
always work. You get
a lot
mad.
of people out there who are very good at deflecting and switching things around. So boomerangs you back or right in the face.
There are, but then there's people out there, you can't do nothing to stop them. They're going to get in no matter what. It's just
Anybody you look at.
my thing has always been is those people we're just talking about. Really, what interest do they have in us? We're not trying to take over. I'm not trying to remove Trudeau and pink shorts and take his job or anything.
Why not?
We
because
are.
You're gonna say that out loud?
We are.
Canada. Look, I thought America was messed up. Canada's messed up, people.
No.
I'm just not ready to take over up there
Well,
yet.
there's a 99% chance he's losing the next election,
we
and
can only hope.
that's just
Well, I
open.
told you every time. So I can't.
Let's stick back to empaths.
Raul's running it, but I can't remember her name. But every time she comes on
Yes.
air now on her podcast, she says that when Raul dies, she's taking over and she's going to make it a democracy. That pink shorts, not her words, but pink shorts would be more than welcome to come down and rule Cuba.
I don't think. Let's not go there. I got a lot to say about that. Let's not go there.
Wrong show. Wrong show.
It is the wrong show.
So let's get back.
This
let's
might be
get back.
empathic abilities he's using to hypnotize her down.
He has zero empathy, and that is evident in anything that you look at.
Right.
Oh, I love him. He's so sweet.
I know you do. Let's move on.
So let's get back to hybrids. Let's get back to hybrids. You don't like to call them hybrids.
Because they're not really hybrids. They're just so it would be like saying that because this child of yours possesses this ability and this one don't. They're a hybrid, but they're not. They're just your child with their DNA slightly moved or slightly altered. These things have been in our DNA for a long time. So,
What about the new people who are saying no? This just happened. I mean, I've talked to people who swore like I've never had children, and the doctor's like, you absolutely can and have had.
Well,
children.
yes, but those hybrids aren't here. Those hybrids are going somewhere else. They're not. They're too
they
advanced for
probably been
here.
taken elsewhere. They don't like.
They
They
what you find with most what we like to call missing baby cases is at 3 months the fetus just disappears. It just disappears.
Do these people know they're pregnant?
Some do, some don't.
So this could fall under how many times women have reported feeling like they just had a heavy period. Say they didn't know they were pregnant.
And in a lot of
it could have
cases,
been just like that kind of thing where they take it and make it look like something else.
yes, yeah. And in a lot of cases, they do a reset. Now, they basically just reset your vitals so that as far as you know, there really wasn't a pregnancy of any kind.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of things they can do up in there, and it really depends on who we're talking about, what alien group we're talking about, and whether the government's involved or not. But they can't really allow hybrids into our society openly because one, we don't know what their abilities are. Two, if one was to get an open and really show a real ability, what would happen to them? Ooh, they could end up dead or crushed or any other damn thing. Because right now, planet Earth is not in its most peaceful form. It was recently, but last 4 or 5 years, it seems to have been getting really hostile. And it's just not a good place for anything that's outside of the norm.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I mean, think about it. If you walked out your house and you seen this 6.5 foot alien looking thing walking through your front yard, you'd be like, John, get a block of cheese. We got to take him out, baby. Get a big one. Don't get one of them little ones. Get a big one.
Are you looking for me to send you cheese? Because right now
I could
it
use some
costs
cheese.
more than gold.
I know. It's true. We can't get in there, but that's
It'd be
true.
cheaper for me to send you a bar of gold right
So,
now. That's
so,
what I'm saying.
yeah, that's Kinsley the other day. He said, "I will trade Bitcoin for good cheese." sound like the
I
fellow.
wouldn't take
I
Bitcoin,
was,
but
I was,
I'll
I
sell
was
him the
laughing.
cheese if he wants it.
Well, I've made a little money off Bitcoin. Some other people have too. You just got to be careful. That's all. And aliens like Bitcoin. I mean, it's probably their money because you can't trace it. It's probably what they use for
We're
cash.
seriously talking about cheese right now.
Cheese and Bitcoin.
Or are you hungry?
You know, I'm just going to send an alien to Amelia's house to give me some damn cheese. That's how it's going to happen.
Wouldn't be the first time it was an alien at Amelia's house.
One day,
It's never in my house, though. I have to request it in like 10 times a week to make sure it gets here on time.
Oh, I can understand that one.
It's never in my house. It's constant screaming, "Where's my mozzarella? Where's this? When did you tell me 2 weeks ago?" It's like, and you're in the middle of cooking and you can't finish because of it.
So
no, it's not here. We have a warehouse and an office.
Yes, well, I can send the alien to the warehouse. They can follow him around until he gets to the warehouse.
They can take whatever they want.
That's what I'm saying. Get a good wheel or something good.
Camembert.
Something good. Yeah, don't go for the cheap cheese. Yeah. Don't.
All right, enough cheese talk.
Cheese in the
now I'm hungry. Now
Joe and I could just do a food show.
Oh, and speaking of that, before we go on, so the boys on News on the Flip Side now, all of them refer to Amelia as the food porn queen.
Oh,
just so you know, even so, we got a new female host, and she's like, "What are y'all talking about?" So she's food porn, man. Don't worry about it. So she's thinking porn isn't with food. I'm like, no, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about she sends these pictures of food all the time. Sean was going, "Oh my god!" Jay's like, "She's killing me. She's killing me." I said, "She's evil. That's all. She's evil." That's the alien in her. But we also talked about the picture.
Yeah, the alien in me's a chef.
I had to show the picture of you in front of your TV. You forgot about that one, didn't you? Oh yeah.
No, I know about that one. I'm more comfortable with that photograph.
She's alien, y'all. Real.
I'm a little bit, but the funny thing is I didn't see anything in that till 3 years later. I always was like, was this always there? You know?
Those are usually the best ones.
Yeah, but it's just so bizarre that I guess because I was taking a picture of the dog on my lap because he was annoyed that I was reading. Mm-hmm. And I took a picture of like how in my face he is for my daughter that I didn't really look anywhere else. Hi, Dolly. I didn't look anywhere else. Alien. So it was quite shocking when
That's quite shocking. She found out she's a damn alien.
It's like
shocking about
working with you guys and learning from both of you and our guests. You tend to be more observant of things now. So
the reflection of the TV was a blue alien thingy. I was like, what the hell?
When you zoomed it, you could clearly see that there was several of them, but there was a human spirit in there. Mm. That I did catch on, but there was like 3 or 4 of them, and
we probably caught
it. If you're looking, it was creepy.
It was probably you caught an abduction when they were putting you back. That's probably what the hell that was.
Well, when she was sitting up with her dog, that makes sense.
Yeah, because she was kind of,
oh yeah, come here, Versace. You're gonna take a picture. Sorry, I just landed. Just landed.
Just got back. That's probably why the dog was in her lap. He just got back. Like, oh, Mom, where you been? Come back.
Well, that would be funny because I was reading Andrea Perron's book with George Lopez, so that would have been fun. I even said to her later, like, did you have something to do with this? She goes, was the family there?
I'd actually forgot all about them. Yeah, it's been that long.
Yeah.
But let's get back on track.
Yes.
Okay. We started out talking about Indigo and Star Children. So tell us about, Indigo and Star Children. What's the difference between them? And
why does there have to be a difference?
Well, a lot of people think they have missions as well, right? Like that there's a whole influx of new souls coming in.
It's kind of like so people since this happened have tried to add things to them, but originally when this all came out, Indigo and Star Children were exactly the same thing. It was just this group called them Indigo and this group called them Star Children. Well, because of people like me who's a pain in the ass, going, "Whoa, why did you do that? Why don't we just call them one thing?" They decided they wanted to add things to them, but adding things after the fact doesn't work for me. It's got to be from the beginning. And since I was here when they first started doing them, yes, people, I'm as old as dirt. So, so, so I was here.
You know what we say in Italian? Più vecchia della luna. You're older than the moon.
Yes. It's, the moon came later. It's much later, actually, too, to be honest.
Okay. I don't want to get you off track. I'm going to stop talking.
And if anybody's got questions or comments, just post it. We will address them as it comes.
But that's really what happened in the beginning. They were the same thing. They were the same coin. It's just for some reason this group wanted to call them this and this group wanted to call them this. And then this group got all new agey. So when they did, they decided, oh, well, Indigo's got to be new agey special. Okay, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But that's what they did. And then the new age just said, well, I mean, the Star Children people are like, well, wait, we can't let the Indigos get away with that. So we got to do like this. And unfortunately, like I said, I was there when all this happened. So I was kind of disappointed by that because for me, it doesn't really matter. If you're a child of any contactee family, and I mean that the father and the mother and the grandfather and so on back is long. So if you're one of those children, then you are a star child. That's where you are. You can't even be anything else. That's what you are. And if you want to say you're indigo, that's fine too. But really, that's what they are. They are the children of the advanced contactees. They're that 16% of the group that we talk about that's hidden out there when the government did their survey and found this 16% of our population was way advanced children. They couldn't quite understand that's those children.
Couldn't it just be a trickle down in genetics of savants?
In some ways it are. Well, it's not savants because it would be a little different, but this is different because so a true contact, or I should say a true indigo, true star child. So if you ask them a question, let me say I was talking to one and I said, well, could you tell me about the universe in a nutshell? That's Stephen Hawking's book. That's his book for dummies. Okay. He said for layman's, I'm going to say for dummies. That's what his book for. I've never read the book. I could quote the book page for page.
Okay. I'm the dummy that needs to read that book.
So the thing about it is, I mean, there's no reason to read it now with all the new math out there. But anyway, if I was to ask them that, well, they had never seen it before. They had never read it. So I'd say, tell me about chapter 25 or tell me about advanced quantum. And they would just go through it just like they were reading from the book. And in a way, they are reading from the book. Somehow or another, their subconscious can tap into that information and use it. That's a true star child. That's somebody who's learned to adapt to their abilities that were given to them through all the genetics coming down and now have learned that they can use them. One of the things we've always done, and one of the things we're bringing ICAR back in full flame is just so we can start teaching people again that you have these abilities, use them.
But do you think it's tapping in so much into the book, or do you think it's just a part of what's been bred into them? Like they're just
it could be
educated to automatically know this stuff.
Well, so we know they get data packet downloads. Now, what's in it, we don't know. So, I mean, it's different for different people. So we don't know in that download that whatever they're having you do or be involved with, you don't know how much just data comes in with that. Things that they think for some reason or another you may need down the line. Or you could just simply be tapping into a consciousness that allows you to tap into the information, not necessarily the book, but the information itself. You may even be tapping into Hawkins as far as you know, because it's when you're crossing the other side. But whatever it is, they have the ability to pull it out as raw data. Also, you'll find that star children especially are usually their educational level, whatever it is when they get out of school, high school, college, whatever it may be, is always going to be higher than their greatest grade.
Right.
They're going to know. They're just going to know stuff, and they just know stuff. They don't even have to read shit. It's irritating, actually. I mean, they just know stuff. And they know a lot of things, and people look at them. They're really good about shooting off the hip and putting out information. And you can be sitting there while they're doing it, going, "Damn, they're right. Damn, they're right." It makes you crazy. Because none of this has been taught to them. This is information that they're accessing. And what's really good about it, because they've reached a certain IQ, say 150 or higher, they're starting to understand how this stuff clicks together. Instead of, in the old days, we were trying to do our Rubik's Cube. Now they understand, screw the Rubik's Cube, that's for beginners. They're out there putting these things together, trying to really see what the world is like.
There's a formula Rubik's Cube. It's really not that difficult.
Well, if you know what it is, it's just...
No, it's like four left turns or something.
You mean my first Rubik's Cube? I just took the things off and put them on there and said, hell with it.
No, there literally is like a 4 left turn and a right. There's a formula to it. You can Google it. It's very simple.
I'm going to be sharing something up in a minute, and what I'm going to share is based on Nicole's comment. Amelia, can you get this?
Absolutely.
Please, thank you.
Hi, Nicole. Thank you for joining us and for giving us your comment. I feel that, the time these children started being identified was about the same time as we started seeing more children diagnosed with autism.
Okay.
Oh, no. These children started being seen 500, 1,000, 1,500 years ago. This isn't anything new. We're not the first humans to recognize this.
Right.
Going all the way back to the Greeks, this is something that we've been knowing. We just don't know where it came from. So during the Greek times, it came from the gods. It was a gift from the gods is basically what they called it. The Romans said the same thing. It was a gift from the gods. Even back in the days when the Israelites and other people had it, it was still a gift from the gods. The only real difference is we understand that, no, it's not a gift from what we would consider what a god is, but a gift from what we would consider extraterrestrial.
Okay, I have a question for you. Would you consider Da Vinci being one of them?
Yeah.
Because of his genius without an education.
Not just
Well,
Da Vinci.
remember, Da Vinci disappeared for 2 weeks. Now,
Yeah.
aside from being brilliant, he disappeared
And
in
an
a
alcoholic.
cave for 2 weeks and came back. Yeah, probably helped him.
No,
but
he was an alcoholic.
even
He was
more
definitely an
brilliant.
alcoholic.
He was said to have had alien contact, though.
I think Michelangelo as well. I don't know
Well, if you
how
look
many
at
artists
all
can lie on their back and paint an entire ceiling.
Well, it's not just that.
Just a shade of white. Never mind an intricate ceiling.
And he did it naked in the Sistine Chapel. Figure out how he got away with that.
Very easily. Nobody else was in there.
I don't think they cared as long as he was painting the damn thing.
He literally lived on the scaffold. He slept on the scaffolds. He lived on it. He only came down.
But Galileo, all of them.
Galileo, yes.
So
Galileo
you
was
had,
actually baptized in
so what did you have? Michelangelo,
in the pulpit in Pisa.
Michelangelo, Leonardo, Da Vinci,
all the
lived
Ninja
at the
Turtles.
same time. Yeah, well, they all lived at the same time. And they're all very gifted. Then they were gifted in a time when it was dangerous to be gifted. What do we got?
Very much so.
This is a drawing that was done by a schizophrenic inmate who drew this. Okay, so what is your take on that? I don't know if I can make it any bigger.
I can't see what it says. I just see the drawing. But that's because my computer's small.
Let me see if I can.
There we go. Okay, there.
Okay.
This was done by a schizophrenic inmate.
Holy. Well, it doesn't mean they're not brilliant. They could have accessed a personality that.
But I think it's labeling, I tend to wonder if this is just part of just how we label.
Wow. And he's got Fibonacci sequence up in the top left.
Mm-hmm.
The shell.
Right.
They were.
No, I don't know.
He was trying to put something together there, but what does it mean? You'd have to know what the connections between each one is.
I'd like to be able to read.
Interesting to share, and as Tesla would say, some of the magical universal numbers of the threes.
Absolutely.
Can
you read the text, Michelle?
Yeah,
I can't see it, but have you read?
Okay, so the text at the top says United States Government Department of Justice, the gates have opened. My time has come. Your cities will burn. Thought Farms, as you can see what he's got up here, all these little numbers. Zion. He gets into some of it, I feel, is a bit of propaganda, interlocking dimensions, musical resonance, all frequency. That makes sense. Yeah. For your intellect, I've simplified this as far as possible. It requires someone stupider than I am to communicate to you. And through your own incredible, I can't even make out that word, incredulity and laughter, you are for the present moment powerless against me. So, then he's getting into indulsion of telekinetic levitation, unified fields, transisting neurological matrix and neocortex interface, proportions of 9 always produce self-repeating non-zero digits in these simulations, signs of the chosen one. So, I mean, we're getting into, some pretty wild stuff. But the point I'm trying to make, I think, is as we're talking about when the comment came up about identifying, or diagnosing children with autism, because, I have a niece who's autistic and she's like so tuned in, it's not even funny.
Yeah, and right now, everybody has a family member that practically everyone has a family member that's on the spectrum, because they can, I don't know, I feel that they can diagnose it sooner, see things, and help it along with the ones that are a little bit further out rather than centered. But I beg to ask, what did this schizophrenic, I hate that word,
Mm.
what did he do as a living? Because, I mean, was he full functioning or was he always, I
Well,
wonder
they're
if he
saying
was
he's
always,
inmate, so something happened, where he's been
inmate to a
incarcerated.
prison or a psychiatric ward?
No idea.
We don't know.
They're
Okay.
not really
Because
like
who knows if
specified.
he is a
But
scientist and one of his personalities has this,
Possibly.
I see
huge
this.
ego.
I've seen this a lot over the years. So even with some of our customers, which is weird, one of the people that has a property on the North Shore. So we drop in and see him. This guy's got these weird Nazi tattoos all over and all kind of stuff. No, they're not for meaning Nazi though, because y'all forget the Nazis usurped the symbol. Before that, it
They
actually had a
took it
different
from the
meaning.
Asian community.
Yeah, so it actually had a much different meaning. But
Yeah.
anyway, he had all these and he had all kind of stuff like this and just hundreds and hundreds, actually thousands of pages of writing of stuff that he was tuning into in his brain. And I'd
They're
seen Wayne
ancient
post.
symbols.
Yes, but I'd seen Wayne when he posted it about other dimensions. I think some of them are tapping other dimensions.
For sure.
They're catching bleed through is what they're catching.
Yeah, because he says he believes
Or
people with
either yes,
schizophrenia are connected to other dimensions, for sure.
yeah, well, at least some of them are for sure. But the problem is the dimensions are so close. Sometimes it's really hard to tell them apart. It's so you don't know which one is actually the reality you're supposed to be living in unless you meet yourself. You really don't know if you're in the right place. It's one of the things we learned on it. So there's a group of contactees that have the ability to what we call portal to other dimensions. So they can't bring themselves there, but so they can be standing there and look in a hallway and look through a doorway. So when they look through that doorway, they'll probably see 2 or 3 different scenes, 2 or 3 different dimensions. Now, they may be seeing something similar across all 4 of the places they're looking from where they're standing and from the other 3. But there's always some things that are different. Like, the person standing there might be wearing a rainbow outfit, and the other one might be wearing all black, and one might have blonde hair, one might have black hair. So there's certain things on the walls might be different, but it's still those people. It's just, in other dimensions. So what happens to you is if you're got your head over there, it's easy to get lost. It's, you start, especially if you're not there, if you're looking at things and you're saying, well, this is very weird, but you're not really recognizing yourself as part of it. And all of a sudden, the next thing you know, you're there. Then it's hard to get home because how do you know which dimension is home once you cross over? It's kind of like the movie Sliders. Once you cross into the other dimension, is it? How do you know how you can get home? Especially if the dimensions are moving, that could be a problem.
But some people who constantly and continuously slip through dimensions obviously know what they're doing. So maybe it's just about
most people that cross dimensions leave an anchor, either an individual.
What's an anchor?
An anchor is leaving your consciousness tied to someone or something.
Tethered to something.
Yeah, so you can pull yourself back. There's a good possibility, even if you're an advanced person, crossing into a dimension completely without that is a good way to get lost. It can allow you, some contactees are very advanced, but when you start talking hundreds of millions of dimensions,
I think it accounts for a lot of the missing people in the lower states and in the mid states.
Well, we know around the world there are 7 or 8 natural portals that can cross you over, and then we know there are people that have the ability to see across the portals, and we do know there are some people who have the ability to cross into the portals. It's just one of the things I used to teach you. If you're one of those people who can see across and actually can put yourself in the other one by moving through, then just learn how to anchor yourself to something important to you, a kid, a dog, a house, an individual, whatever it is, something. It's best to anchor yourself to somebody who knows you're doing it, because not only can you pull, but they can pull as well. Because you never know when something over there might decide it wants to keep you.
I know
and
someone
not
who
let you
did
come
that
back.
from childhood, and would
That's what
see
I'm
all
saying.
kinds of things going on, and it would just be like they totally could see into what was happening, and it was, like a view, a dimensional window, I guess you could say, you know.
Well, that was the first time one of our contactees really had a good explanation for the black-eyed children, or the black-eyed people, I should say. They were witnessing the black-eyed people working in abduction in a different dimension. They were actually watching the whole thing as it went down. The Greys were there, and they were
Right.
watching the whole thing. So later on, being that they were contactees, the next time they were on board the ship, and the Greys had them, they asked them, and they introduced them to them because they were on board the ship with them. They're basically us, just slightly looking different, but they're around the same technological where we are. They're not dimensional. They're from this galaxy. They're just being taken just the same way we are. Matter of fact, with the exception of maybe they didn't start out as a slave race like we did, they're probably not much different than we are. From what I've been told is they work our dimensions, we work. I mean, they work our abductions, we work theirs as keepers.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess maybe it's because, with the exception of the eyes, we look pretty much the same. I don't know. Now and before anybody writes to myself or Michelle and me, that doesn't explain all the black-eyed things. Okay, that just explains that one particular group. I don't want all you demonists writing to me say it's a demon. That's Michelle's.
There is
Anyway,
no proof that black-eyed children are demonic. That
I agree with you, but I always hear it. I constantly hear paranormal people tell me they're demonic. Just stay away from them.
I think it's because
black-eyed.
they're
Yeah.
limited to what they're been educated on. I believe that's why. I've had a deep fear of them before meeting Michelle and understanding other things. So I can see why they see it that way, because it's in their realm of, demons and negative
It's also
entities. And
conditioning. Yeah, don't blame me,
Yeah.
because the producers, out of every answer I give, always go for the worst.
yeah,
You
it
know?
doesn't. Yeah,
I have no
sells.
creative
It sells
control over the
really
shows I
well.
film.
Yeah, I think it's because they're always saying, "Don't let them in." Well, if you knew there were aliens, you probably wouldn't let them in either. Like they're
if
creepy
you got that
looking.
option, I mean, for the most part, you might not. Well, no, I mean, so a girl drew me one. She's like 9 years old. A couple of months ago, she drew me a picture, and it would look just like you, Amelia, except for this part of your eye was black instead of
Yeah.
white. And I didn't realize this, and she pointed it out to me. She said, "No, Mr. Joe, let me show you." So it was all black, but
Mr. Joe.
so sweet.
Aw,
And
yeah.
and I always tell people not to call me that, but this part was actually colored: green, blue, red, yellow, orange. There was like 5 different colors, and I never knew
Crazy.
that before. And she said, "No," she said, "most of the time because it's black on the pupil in this." She said, "But not always. Sometimes the pupil's a different color." I was like, "What?" So I put that into the iCard database and started asking people and said, "Hey, have you seen this version of a black-eyed person?" And a couple of people came up and said, "Yes." I was like, "Okay, that changes things a little bit." But still,
You can Google black eyes. There are certain races of humans that actually have.
Mine have turned that color. I've
Yes.
had people I film with catch it on camera.
Yeah.
I
if,
think
when
eyes
someone's
change
if
color.
they're human and they're black-eyed, you get out the cross and holy water.
No, but I believe
He
our
wears a
eyes.
cross.
It's like a mood ring. When I get mad, it's just like, that's it. It's
Get the
like
holy
a
water,
mood ring.
people. Get the holy water, damn it. Get the
I-
good
I-
holy
I'd like-
water.
I'd like to know, when Lady Spider wishes, they scare me. Can you write down why they would scare you?
Yeah.
Because this seems to be, I'm interested in her thoughts on that, because let's face it, most people, is it because it's media, or is it an inner fear that's just bubbling? Yeah.
No,
Well,
it's
me,
because
Oh,
I don't like 'em.
me, please. Interfere.
Right.
But
Huge interfere.
it's only because
Yes.
that the media and everybody out there put this out as a bad thing. So what happens is you might get 15 good cases of black-eyed people. You get one bad one, and that's the only one anybody ever pays attention to.
Right.
That's it. Nobody else pays attention to anything else. They only pay attention to that one. So that one becomes a standard, when of course it's not the standard. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right.
Dolly, I know you're an alien chick. You don't even, baby.
Well, I was looking at my eyes, and I sent pictures to Michelle because I said I never realized before I don't have flex. I actually have 3 rings, and there's a name for it, whatever. But in that article, they were talking about people who have black eyes, like from different parts of the world, and it's just common. It's just their
I think eyes
genealogy.
change colors. Eyes change colors.
Yeah.
I've had my eyes have changed different colors.
Absolutely, yeah, especially
And
with
it's
green
like,
eyes, that happens.
So
for
first
sure.
off, eyes don't change colors when you're young. It's usually when you're over 40, by the way, in case y'all didn't know that. And there's a reason why.
Oh yeah, enlighten me.
No, indeed not. I can't tell you those kind of secrets. Then they'd have to
Oh,
come.
sure. That's because you're making it up.
Well,
No,
Joe, it
really
was
and
nice
truly. No,
having
really
you
and truly.
on
You can
tonight.
look for
Thanks for
yourself.
joining us.
You can look for yourself. You're
Every
not going
time
to
Joe
really
says to
find.
me, he goes, "I can't tell you. It's a secret." And
No,
I'm like,
it's
"That's called
it's
Get out of
bullshit."
him
no because
tonight, but
if
you
I
guys
tell
don't
you
keep hearing it.
if I tell you you're not going to like it. So
Why?
the thing about it is you're not going to find anybody young eyes except for maybe Hazel may fribble back and forth, but you're not going to really see anybody's eyes really not even 40s. It's more even like in the 50s.
Yeah.
It has to do one with our personalities change. And we change who and what we are. It's not just that; our hormones change as well.
I'm
Yeah,
back.
but my eyes are identical to my 40s to my
Not
30s.
everybody's changed, but a lot of people because their
No.
hormones change.
But that's
Eye
what I
color
said. It's
change.
like a mood ring.
It is kind of like a movie.
Yeah, I just know
Yeah.
that mine haven't changed because I've had surgery on my eyes, so I've got pictures like through the decades.
So, but
You
usually
know?
once they change, a lot of times they don't change back. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Sometimes
Oh,
they go
mine has
another
go
way.
many different colors.
But it's usually with people who already have colored eyes.
My daughter has black eyes, but there's white around them. Like they're so dark brown. They're not black, but they're so dark brown you can't see the pupil. She has my mom's eyes, which in Italian we'd say castagna, which is chestnut. It's like almost black, almost like espresso, really, really, really dark, which they're gorgeous because I envy you ladies with the dark, dark brown eyes because you can wear any makeup and any hair color, man. Like you just pop. The rest of us have to find a way around the color wheel. But
Well, yeah. Like she goes angry, it go orange. Yeah.
oh, my sister says they go orange. Yeah. See, and when I cry, mine go green.
Well,
Crying, like they just go complete like mint green. They're ridiculous.
yes, blue eyes are just shades of blue. I mean, from bedroom blue to silver gray blue. There's just lots of shades of blue in between. Green is usually just dark green eyes or deep green eyes, and then there's green that fades into hazel.
That's what mine do. Or they go slate, blue, gray.
Yeah, but for
black,
some reason,
and another color that I won't say.
But some reason, green eyes tend to like to be green mostly.
The
it is a mutation.
green, yeah.
Well, it's a mutation. It's for something kicked out in our bodies a long in our family lines way back when. That's what caused them. It's just a mutation. Everybody's like, oh, it's so special. Well, it's cool to have different colored eyes, but
my dad had gray eyes, like gray. There was nothing.
You would think if you watch TV, you would think
like a bluey gray.
You would think if you watch TV, you would think that blue eyes was the dominant color around the world. I mean, so many politicians and so many movie stars.
If you
and so many
talk to
people.
an ophthalmologist, Joe, they tell you that there isn't any color of the eye. It's the reflection of the white light coming into your eyes, how the fibers of your eyes are put together. This is what ophthalmologists say.
I'm sure they do, but everybody else says you got colored eyes. So
no, I understand that. I'm just saying, like, I read about that and I was just really surprised. But it makes sense when you've studied white light. I did in science not long ago. It makes sense because it's all how our eyes are open and how the light's reflecting within all those fibers, and it creates those colors in your eye. That's why hazel eyes will change and green gray eyes will change depending on the lighting as well. Sometimes you'll see actors who have blue eyes on TV and they look brown. Why? Because of the lighting. And you get them outside or you see them in bright
more
lights
likely they put contact.
And they're like really bright.
Yeah, they might have just put contact lens in there though, so that
No. I'm talking about like in one scene it's blue and the next scene it's lighting. I'm not saying their eyes aren't blue. I'm just saying they could look different in different lighting. Doesn't mean the colors change. Slow your roll. Chill, Mr. Joe.
Don't make me whoop up. Don't not make me whoop up on you, girl. It's so it depends where you go to look for numbers for what eyes are the rarest colors. It also depends where, they always tell you that. I was just reading the other day, somebody said, well, brown eyes are 45% and blue eyes are 30% and hazel eyes are 18% and green eyes are 8%.
I thought green was 3.
Most places it says 2. Some not even. So that's why you've always got to be leery. See, in the old days, people just put up stuff and said, okay, this is right. They didn't care what color eyes they had. They just put up the information. Today, it's different.
Maybe it's also different because our population has grown. So there are more people with green eyes and there are more people with blue eyes.
But you can't do it that way. You have to do it this way.
No, I understand that. But I'm saying our population has grown.
40,000 years ago, everybody in the planet had,
country in the last.
But it doesn't matter because 40,000 years ago, everyone on the planet had brown eyes. Everyone.
I know.
Brown hair, brown eyes, and
I always
brown
thought
skin.
the Egyptians had blue eyes though, because they were always blue in the
Yeah, maybe after the 40,000 year mark. Yeah, well, the Egyptians were 5,000 years ago, so it's probably they might have. But before that, no one had colored eyes. It wasn't until Rh negative was injected into our bloodstreams that we decided, which is a mutation itself, which triggered off the colored eyes.
Mm-hmm.
No one had it before that. So it's kind of hard to say, okay, in 5,000 years, we went from 0% colored eyes to 50% colored eyes. That just doesn't work. The math doesn't add up. It just doesn't add up. It's but when you look at TV or anywhere else, I mean, the majority of people you see on TV or in politics have colored eyes. We trust people with colored eyes more than we trust people with brown eyes, which is both stupid. I found brown-eyed people are usually more honest than colored-eyed people are, but it's just the way of the world. When we look at somebody, a lot of times when you look at somebody first time, you're like, look at the stunning eyes. You haven't even noticed their face or anything else. You've just focused in on their eye color. And a lot of people decide how they think about a person by that first look at that eye color. So it's weird. Well, anybody today can have any color eyes they want. I mean, there's freaking contact lens at the yin yang. You can even darken your own color.
So nasty. Like I laugh at these influencers that wear these colored contacts, and that light is really bright, but your pupil's like this big on the contact. If your light's bright, your pupil's going to be like a pinhole. It's just be happy with what you have and just learn to love yourself. Like seriously. I have 6 colors in my eyes. You know how frustrated I am, but I don't, I think it's sad.
I don't even think about my eye color unless somebody asks me.
All eye colors are beautiful, but shape of the eye is what makes it beautiful. Not thank you.
Yes.
The space for me, it's the shape of the eyes, and it's the smile around the eyes that you can read.
I'm not sure though that the colored eyes aren't becoming dominant. Because I noticed if you go back in my family line, even 500 years, everybody from the side of the family where I get my green eyes all have green eyes.
Yeah.
All of them. I mean, it just doesn't. And when my son has a kid, his child will have green eyes. It's so it does carry, it does stay. But green eyes is just such a rare thing. In China, in places like China and India, it doesn't even exist. You might find one person out of every 100 million with them.
No, they have like darker chestnut to black.
And eventually all that'll change. I mean, as the populations go closer and breed in. And it is funny that 65% of all of the people we've interviewed as an abductee or contactee have colored eyes or Rh negative blood. Which doesn't even make sense since the majority of people have, Rh positive blood and brown eyes. It does give you something to think about, though. The aliens prefer the taste of people with green eyes better. Maybe green eyes taste better or something. Ooh,
oh my God. So
the brown eyes might be salty.
You know how you always used to say
I like
salty is in like what, cranky or just salty?
No, green light.
I can be salty.
Green
I like salty. I can be salty, but I like salty.
I know.
Blue eyes might be sweet like a blueberry to an alien, so we don't know.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Do you remember?
Dolly's like,
we did a show on the Gray Zone. We were talking about different alien races, and you had talked. We talked about these small brown.
The cleanup crews.
Well, you call them cleaning crew, and some of them just had these cloaks, and they're hooded and stuff.
Okay.
I read an article
There's
recently.
2 different kind of brown aliens. So go ahead.
Okay, well, the cloak guys, okay,
that's
are the
great.
ones that, because we talked about those as well. And I just read something recently where I guess when they make contact with a specific individual, and I mean others, it's almost like there's some part of like a soul tribe or something, and they're just all joking around, and because the guy had an NDE, and he says, "Well, is this a part where I just go through purging my life?" And they're like, "Well, okay, why not?" And then he starts talking, and he goes, "No, never mind that. We don't care. You're going back anyway. It's not time yet." And they're all having this joking sort of. He goes, "I felt like we were just like buddies hanging out at some restaurant and joking around, and just what do you know about those little guys?" This is a new story that has emerged, and apparently,
well, first off,
Wow.
you have to have more than a dozen on investigation file to be considered real. Remember that. And most organizations want at least 30 or more cases of whatever type of alien it is, because there's lots of other aliens out there, but just like 1 description or 5 description or 3 description, it's not enough to be considered legit. Because I learned something a long time ago on a case that we were investigated that was a planted story. So the story was planted. I would tell y'all the story, but y'all would just be devastated. So it's anyway, the story was planted, and before long, there were dozens of witnesses coming forward, dozens of people had seen it. To date, 25 years later, because it's never been debunked, there has been more than 50 people seen these aliens. Army people, police people, just people in general. They've seen them up close, seen them far away, interacted with them. But the story's not real. And we know it's not real because we know who planted it.
I was just going to say, was it planted?
It was a planted story.
Yeah.
But it was really a test to see how people would react. Because honestly, I lost this bet, by the way, because I thought people would be a little bit more forward and honest than they were. People just started. It's a really good story.
You give the human race too much credit.
You're right
but
about that.
do you think it's a screen memory and they just truly believed it?
Well, that is a possibility because of some of the other stuff that came later on. But still, and it could have maybe been something that was real, and the person who did it didn't realize it until later on after the fact. But regardless, how many people jumped in it, and it was just ridiculous. It's like when we put up a bunch of UFOs, and we'll put up, like on the website, there'll be 100 UFOs on a page. One of them is fake. Okay. More than likely, no one ever finds the fake one. And if they do find the fake one, that's the only thing they concentrate on anymore is that fake one on that page. And if you write on there, all these are real and this one's fake, the only one everyone ever talks about is the fake one. Why?
Well, it's mental, just like if you repeat something enough.
Mental retardism.
It's real. It's almost like that kind of thing. If I see it and everybody else thinks this is real.
Well, humans have a tendency to jump on a bandwagon.
That's what I meant.
It's just if you go back and listen to what I say on Wake Up USA, and you do the tour of ufology, about 2/3 of what you hear about abductions came from us. Now we'll never get credit for it, but if you go, you can go see. Luckily for me, it's all on file. It's all been talked about publicly. So I just proved this to a very famous ufologist who's still pissed at me. It's something he was running around saying there, but I said, "Man, why don't you give me credit when you talk about my research?" "Oh, it's not yours." I said, "Hold on." And I brought him back to the original archive, which was in 1999. He was like, "Oh shit, it is yours." I'm like, "Yeah, it's mine." He's like, so you see a lot of this, and people jump on your research because ufologists are just like paranormal people, are only as good as their last case.
Mm-hmm.
So people, and if something's out there that's good, you can jump on it and say, "Oh, I saw it," or "I was involved with it." That keeps you alive, keeps you moving. Or I know some policemen, or I know some truckers, or I know some of these people who saw it. They keep you alive and moving in the field. But it's not the truth. It's just a bunch of bullshit. And so it's just unfortunate that you have to wade through all of this to even get to the truth. And and these days we have better methods and we understand things better. So it's a little easier to get to the truth now. We have way more telepaths involved with what we do. So it does make it easier, but still, just the other day, somebody was telling me about this Hudson Valley UFO and all this research, and he sent me the research. Now I interviewed this guy. This was a book written by his mother who was dying of cancer in a hospital. I brought this guy on. It was a good research. It was a good program. So this other guy's telling me how it's his research. I'm like, really? I said, I know Dave, right? He's like, really? I said, no, I know who wrote the book, Dave. I said, I know who wrote this book. Oh, no, you're mistaken. I said, oh, well, I'm going to call him right now. We're going to find out if I'm mistaken. And then I never heard from this guy again. But I mean,
No kidding.
Well, because, Dave hadn't been out in 10 years. He hadn't said anything to anybody. They just figured they'd just jump on it and use it.
Yeah, yeah.
And you watch, in 20 years, people will be using Stanton Friedman stuff.
I think some of them have started.
Oh, I'm pretty sure they did. And people always get on my ass because I completely rewrote the Betty and Barney Hill case. I still get nasty letters from people. Joe, I can't believe I said the case that made him famous was a military abduction, not an alien abduction. I said I proved it over and over and over and over. I said I proved the real abduction happened in Canada and the alien and the military abduction happened in the United States. I said it was easy to prove. It was easy.
So it's not that they weren't abducted, just not in.
Yeah. So when you listen to them, they did a lot of shows in the 70s and they were hypnotized, but in the 60s and 70s. So when you listen to them talk, first question this guy asked him, well, let's plug the hotel where you stayed in Canada. Let's give him a free plug on the radio. There's just a big radio network. Barney goes, I really don't remember. He looks, you could see him, you couldn't see him, but you could hear him kind of looking over at Betty. And Betty's like, I really don't remember either. He said, but you know what? We did walk across the street from the hotel and had breakfast at this big chain restaurant. He said chain restaurant.
I read
Still
that.
could not tell me the name of the restaurant or the hotel. Now, generally, you know what restaurant you ate at. You might forget the whole name of the hotel, even though you just paid the bill on your way out the door. But, maybe you had some weird name when you forgot some Saskatchewan name or some shit that Canada has and you just forgot.
Saskatchewan. They weren't in
I'm
Saskatchewan.
just making names up.
Yeah. Weren't they on our side, like closer this way?
Yeah, they were closer to y'all. And then they came back down through Connecticut anyway.
They were in Quebec.
So anyway, they so later on in the day, first off, they stayed at a hotel and had breakfast, didn't know where they stayed. Neither one of them, which I found that just odd. So later on in the day, going home, they headed back to the U.S., they stopped to ask for directions. Okay, that's a cool thing. Betty describes it as a nice white Irishman cop. Barney describes him as a black cop.
That's a big difference, yeah.
What year was it?
Oh, I'd have to go back and look. It was way back. Jesus.
Just give me the decade.
It was in the 60s.
Chances are it was Irish.
And so they both described it differently. So then they drive, they come into America. This thing sounds more like a blimp than a UFO to me with the way they described it. But anyway, it lands. A set of steel stairs come down. 4 men in black shoes, black pants, black shirts, and black duck-billed caps come walking out of it and come to get their car. Now, they said some kind of magnetic thing grabbed their car and stopped it. So an alien wouldn't have physically grabbed it. They would have just shot a beam at it. But there was round disc marks in the trunk, so it sounds like some kind of maybe sat on electrical charge down to the car. They just shot it with these things and pumped it either magnetic.
But they thought it was real.
Well, it was real. This was actually going on. So they took them, they looped their arms around them, walked them across the street, walked them. I've never heard aliens walking anybody anywhere. Walked them up the stairs into the flying saucer. That was the only case in the over 100,000 cases we have on file where I have an alien walking somebody up a set of steel stairs into a UFO ever. So Betty says, oh, yeah, then they hit the doors, the swinging doors with the big glass windows like you'd see in a hospital.
It sounds very primitive.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Like modern day.
Then she says they pulled down the map to show them where they were. They opened the drawers to get the stuff out, gave them a book, a binded book from left to right, like our books would be bonded or your books would be bonded. We don't know how an alien would bind their books. They might bind it center to right and left as far as we know. It's all of this, they took physical skin samples. We used razor blades to take skin samples, needles to take fluid samples. They took hair samples. This sounds like a C2C operation. This was the same thing that got Travis Walton at the end of his case is the same thing that happened to Betty and Barney Hill. The government stepped in, and when they knew they had been abducted in Canada because they'd been following Barney his whole life, and when they knew that, they waited for him to come back in the United States because they didn't want to abduct him in Canada for some reason, and took him here and did whatever they were going to do and then put him back.
They probably couldn't get them clearance for the airspace.
Maybe not. You might be right about that. Yeah, you might be right.
That's probably why they waited, because they knew once they went into airspace, they'd be shot at. You're right by the nation's capital, the prime minister's house. It's not going to sit well.
Yeah, I can see that. And there was three sets of memories which made sense. There was their memories, their daily memories, their memories of the military abduction, their memories of the alien abduction. You wouldn't have three sets of memories otherwise. So, but Kathleen Maldron and all of them got mad because they wrote this fancy book. So Kathleen took liberty. She said they found the dress and they did this and that was bullshit. They had electronic screens like we would have today. She was just trying to update the case to make it more modern for the day. Well, let's be honest. Any alien race traveling here is not going to have stuff like we have. This is antiquated technology to them. This shit would probably be built into the walls. It'd probably be some kind of stuff, like the new rubber mats we got you roll up and does all your television, all of that. It'd be something more like that, at least.
So you say that they've been following Barney his whole life. Is it because he was military?
No, it's because he was the contactee.
Always?
So let me quick.
Never heard that before.
Oh yeah. So let me explain. Betty was not a contactee, even though she tried to swear she was. You could tell by the story that she wasn't the one they were interested in. He was the one they took in the other room. They gave her a book to read while they did all of this. Tells you right there. Yeah, no, that's she said some little fat guy who looked like some comedian with a big nose handed her a book, but he was only like 3 foot tall or something. But anyway, so you could hear
Danny DeVito was on.
I was going to say, it sounds like the Penguin.
Yeah. Well, no, but it was somebody before that, some star from the 40s or 30s or 40s. I can't remember his name. He's pretty famous back in the day, but that's who she kind of described him as. So all of this goes down, and they put him back and they release him and send them on their merry way. None of this sounds like extraterrestrial to me.
Right.
So I'm listening to the regression tapes from Dr. Simons that someone mysteriously sent to me one day, and I still have, by the way. So I'm listening to the tapes. And you can hear nothing but pure fear in Barney. There's no doubt that he's seeing an alien. There's no doubt. You don't hear this in Betty, but you hear this in Barney. I mean, this just horror. So you go back 20 or 30 years, you find out that Barney has been having psychological problems his whole life. He was going to see regular shrinks. Mm-hmm. And some of them were actually on a military base. I think his mom had a friend. So this guy had three colonels as friends of his. One of them lived with him. Two of them were just good. First off, making friends with a colonel is like some moron making friends with an admiral. It's just unless you were in the service, if you were in the service, or unless you're way high up, like some kind of special kind of person, you just don't make those kind of friends. Plus, he was invited to the White House for dinner with his white wife in 1969, I think it was. Ooh, that shit definitely don't happen. So some people say they use this to kind of, push the black and white agenda because, they were an interracial couple. I have no idea if that's true or not, but just getting the invitation.
Oh, no, they're American. I was going to say in Canada, we were more liberal with that.
Yeah, but getting an invitation to the White House for a mailman that's done really nothing but be taken by aliens. I mean, come on. That's you just gotta wonder what the hell. The fact that these colonels were friends of his, you have to wonder. They just watched him, so they kept an eye on him. And anytime he got taken, one of them came and talked to him.
But there's got to be some merit, to the actual abduction part. I mean, it's common. I mean, it's fairly common, I guess, for contactees to be pinched by, Milab.
Only a few. Only if you get taken. Let me explain that real quick. If you're getting taken, there's only a couple of reasons they'll take you. One, you're an advanced contactee and you came out public and you blabbed your mouth. Okay, they're going to take you to see what you know.
That's half of you on the network.
No,
I know.
I'm just saying.
But But most contactees are not going to come out and talk about things they've done on a ship or things they've been involved with, or the big ships, or any real length of time staying there.
Many don't even remember.
Well, most of them don't, and not without regression or things like that. So the government's not interested in them. They can't break the aliens' hypnosis or whatever they use, the telepathic abilities they use to put memories in. They can't be broken, especially now that they loop the memories. The government don't even know where to look. Now that they started looping memories, the government's not even sure where to look. Every looped memory in your head, they're going to go through. Every memory you do daily, now they'd be there for years trying to figure out what memory is the one that was looped. So it's a lot harder on them now. And so they wait for people who come public. That's who they're looking for. Or people that they've been monitoring, other advanced people they've been monitoring who may be in contact with other people that could be considered advanced. That's the people they take. They're not interested in anybody else. They're interested in where they have the best shot of getting to whatever the hell it is that they're looking for. And they're looking for a few things, but mainly they're looking to understand the technology and the agendas, which they still have not managed to really learn squat. It's aliens don't really share much on their agendas, you know.
That's
Other than
why I don't believe I've ever been abducted, is because I don't have anything that they would want. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me at all.
what do you mean you don't have anything they want? You got a daughter,
No, don't go there.
and she's going to have a daughter, and she's going to
No,
have a
she's
daughter.
not.
Well, somebody else is going to be getting along somewhere along in y'all's family. You got brothers and sisters?
Yeah, but why?
Well, if they're taking you, they're taking them, baby.
No,
That's how it
but
works.
why? I'm not being taken. I mean, but why?
I just seen you the other night.
shut up.
Matter of fact, I seen you the other night. You're like, you told me.
Thanks,
the same thing.
Michelle. Seriously, shut up.
So I see Amelia on the ship that night. I'm like, Amelia, you know you're being taken. No, I'm not. I said,
He's lying.
I said, look over here at the damn graves. You look at the graves. Well, you know, so what? And I was like, but they're graves. She said, I'm not being taken. I'm like, okay. I'm not going to argue
I
with you
am
about it.
not being taken. I have nothing to offer them. I'm like, you're
There we
saying
go.
that. Pardon?
Amelia has a right to say no.
Thank you,
Just
Dolly.
say
I'm
no.
positive. I always say
Just
no.
say no.
I always say no. Just ask
say
John.
no. That poor man. Oh my God.
Well, on that note, we have to do a station and sponsor ID. But we can continue with the shenanigans, you know.
I've had this ready. Well, we
All
can't
right.
get booted off because the owner's with us. So
I know.
he's liable for it all. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
Okay, so you're listening to The Outer Realm with Michelle Desrochers and Amelia Pisano, coming to you live from the beautiful city of New Orleans on 107.7 FM radio, as well on the Gulf Coast on 105.3 FM radio. We're live on the Roku channel and archived as well. Our guest tonight is network owner of UPRN. He has his own shows as well, so he's the host of the show, produces our show, and he's our crazy friend. We love him. It's Joe Montaldo's with us tonight, and if you're joining, then you're very fortunate because he's always a lot of fun, and there's always so much to talk about with him. We look forward to having him on the show. If you're just tuning in, no worries. You can stream our archives on any platform you normally use. Search United Public Radio and then The Outer Realm to find us. Remember to click like and subscribe. Add us to your playlist so you never miss an episode. Kindly share us with your friends and family. If you're watching on Facebook right now or YouTube, I dare you smash that like key and hit that subscribe. Let's watch those numbers grow. We know that you're watching and listening. Please help us there. We'd love your support. And we got to give a big shout out to the reason why we're here. It's Folgers Coffee. Thank you for your continued support and sponsoring our show. We simply adore you, and we can't do this without you from day one. And we hope to have a long life with you. What's so funny? Because I can't see you guys.
Nothing. We're not doing nothing. I'm just sitting here minding my own business. I can't
Okay.
do for evil.
Excuse me, I'm busy. So anyways, and I just lost my stupid thing. Thanks, Joe.
Hey, thanks. It was her. I was just doing. Oh my God.
So anyways, let me get back to this because it's very important because we have several sponsors. One of our sponsors is oh my God, Joe, I'm going to kill you. Steve McGinnis. He is a horror illustrator and an incredible artist. He is the reason we have this gorgeous banner, and all our promo media is courtesy of Steve McGinnis. Thank you, Steve. He creates commissioned pieces as well and can be found on Facebook. Our intro and outro is courtesy of Dr. Snick, the sonic surgeon, aka Justin Snicker, award-winning composer, vocalist, and musician. Those are his vocals as well as his music in our intro. You can find his music on Amazon and Bandcamp, stream on any platform. Find Dr. Snick on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you, Justin.
Okay, and I'm going to be a bit of a harpy. Let's get those Folgers commercials coming back.
Yeah.
We want a whole new slew of them. We're going to start playing them. Promote yourself in the process, but only if it includes Folgers coffee.
Yes.
Show us
Some
what you
Folgers
got.
coffee, people.
Yeah,
I
right
didn't,
there.
I didn't drink all
Okay.
the stuff they sent to Michelle. Oh, wait. Did I say that out loud? Shit.
What?
Nothing.
What?
I didn't say nothing.
What?
I didn't say
Yeah.
nothing. I'm
There you
pleading the
go
fifth.
there. Showing some other brand right in the middle of our sponsorship. Ooh,
I thought they bought them. That's why I showed them that.
sure.
I think that's true. I think they bought them, or they bought them. Somebody bought somebody.
Mhm.
Funny. On a side note, we were asked to do a Bud Light commercial, and I was like,
Oh, no.
I was like, well, I said, well, you're going to pay me like you paid them ones on TV. Yeah. I said, we'll take a couple $1 million if you want to pay up. But, oh no, we just want to let it run across your shows. And she told me how much. I'm like, I don't think so, dude.
No.
I said first, the Bud Light is.
I'd call one for free.
I said, Bud Light has become controversial.
No, after what happened last year, and we can't even talk about that on here.
No,
It's
Yeah.
it's a no.
another show. That's for news on the flip side.
That's right.
Yeah.
And even there, we're not going to do Bud Light. So too bad.
No, but it's a no. It's a no from me.
There's a no for the network. So Bud
I
Light,
don't promote any alcohol. I don't care whose it is. I don't promote it.
Now, if Rip Van Winkle wants some promotion, we'll have to talk. And yes, so I can send Michelle some. This stuff is smooth. Anyway, enough about that.
Oh,
I'll be drinking some of that soon enough.
you made me do a naughty right here on my.
I know. I've seen that too. I caught that. You don't think I didn't see it? I seen
I
it.
couldn't resist.
Dolly's seen it too. Now your little co-host down there, she's all doing a good job. She had no idea what was going on.
No, I don't. I have a question though.
Right.
I would like to ask you about Stephen Hawking. Why did he say do not communicate with them? Why was he so adamant? Did he have
It's not
contact
just
you? Was he
reading.
an abductee?
I don't know. It could possibly have been because he was brilliant, but I don't know for sure. But he joined another group of scientists, or I should say another group of scientists joined him in the fact that, okay, currently we are just bleep, bleep, bleep. We're just broadcasting everywhere. Every time somebody broadcasts a TV thing, it's going into deep space. So I think right now the first broadcast is Hitler's the 1932 games. I'm not sure. Anyway, it was the Olympic Games. It's 100 years out. So that's 100 light years out. The first thing they're going to see is Hitler. And then they're going to see a bunch of other stuff. And then they're going to see World War II. And that's what they're going to
see all the genocides.
and that's what they're going to see about our planet before I Love Lucy gets on and makes them laugh and Star Trek gets out there. It's but they're going to see all of that first. And then eventually they'll get to where we are on television today, which is probably even worse. Remember, people, they're going to be judging us by our own television.
Yeah, but they're going way too far back because those people are gone.
It doesn't matter. That's what they're going to see, and that's what they're going to be judging us by. They're going to be judging us. So that's a good thing, actually, because TV in the 40s, 50s, and 60s
was
and
clean.
Even 70s, it was clean.
Yeah, all the way up to just about 70 to 73.
Yeah, and then
because then they finally put the 2 beds in I Love Lucy.
Yeah,
that was a big controversial thing to do at the time.
Let's have sex.
And they never mentioned she was pregnant. They couldn't say the word on TV.
No, there's a lot of things they couldn't say on TV.
No.
But yet they could smoke their brains out.
Yes, but if you smoked back then, it was a sign of sophistication. It wasn't a sign. They didn't know anything about the tobacco at the time.
They were, no, they didn't, but they were smoking their brains out. It's I was funny because I was watching Oppenheimer the other night and doing the whole
what a great film.
Everybody's smoking away.
But didn't you love that film?
It was okay. I wouldn't say it was great, but it was okay.
Oh, I thought it was really good.
I thought it was a pretty good movie. There was some good stuff in it, but there's some stuff that almost put me night too. So,
Well, I like Killian as an actor. Like on Peaky Blinders, he's really good, and that's another
but
show
I
that
would
they're
recommend.
constantly smoking on.
Well, yeah, but I would recommend people to go see it. I mean, it's close to the truth. It's not. It doesn't. Well, it's not completely the truth. I never realized he was such a horn dog, though.
Okay. So
Okay.
I'm going to just jump over to
Well,
Stephen Hawking.
I didn't know aliens could do that kind of stuff.
Stephen Hawking actually believed that we would be treated the same way. Like when the Spanish came over
Sure.
to South America and they literally devastated, mass genocide, took over. I mean, that's what worked out. That's what happened when, the Spaniards came over, Columbus came over, and these people extended their hand, and it didn't work
Well,
out so good for them. And that was the exact example he used, that if we're extending our hand, putting out messages, we have to be careful what we wish for.
yeah, we're
That
sending them
was the
our
example he used.
address and our blood types. We're morons. I mean, really, we're giving them the method to wipe us out. It's
Right.
just I don't. For a lot of alien races, I think they would get here if they were. Depends how far more advanced they are. We are, but let's say they're 500 years more advanced. I think in their case, it may not be that they're going to take us over, but they won't have to. Look what we did to look what we did to Africa and South America without taking them over, just by contaminating their societies. Oh, let's give them a big lighter. Let's give them a T-shirt. Let's give them a cell phone. This is so funny. I'm watching this tribe in South America. Recently, nobody had even seen these people. Guess what I seen the other day when I'm watching? Everyone's got a cell phone in their hand. Everyone still going topless, still wearing these little bottoms, still got their spears, but they got a damn cell phone.
Do you notice that United States are the only ones that call themselves Americans?
No, all the South Americans call themselves Americans.
I'm talking about in North America. There's 3 other countries. None of us are saying
Yes,
anything.
we don't count you other 2 countries, though. I mean, really, we've been thinking about annexing. We've been thinking about annexing Canada. We don't honestly,
say we're Americans, Canada of America. We don't say that.
Because we're greedy, but we consider y'all a state anyway. We don't even consider y'all a country. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Mexico, we kind of sort of half-ass consider.
We grew 2 million people in 9 months.
You don't even have as many people as California does.
What does
Texas is
California
going to
have?
pay 40 million.
We have 41 as of last week because of all the mass
and
immigration. But anyways,
Texas is going to pass you up. I mean, no, come on. We got states bigger than your country. I mean, that's not good. That's
it's not good. You're overpopulated.
No, California's not overpopulated. Neither is Texas. And of course, y'all aren't either. I mean, y'all got so much free land.
Don't make me click the end stream button.
I can't help it. Look, that's probably why, I got to thinking about this not too long ago. Certain places in y'all's country is good parking places for extraterrestrial craft.
No kidding.
I mean, there's whole open areas up there with lakes that freeze over in the wintertime. They can just go sit in there and chill out and melt themselves out when they want to leave.
How do you know that they don't go under some of these lakes? We have some really deep lakes.
No, they do. So we know.
Yeah, the provincial parks have these deep lakes.
Know because, so every now and then my phone will just flip out. So I'll be looking at it and it'll say, I say, where am I at, phone? I'm 5,000 feet in the air over Saskatchewan, Canada. I'm like, really?
There's nothing there but fields.
Exactly my point. Nothing there but nothing. And every now and then, and it's not just my phone, it's other people's phones. Every now and then, so I tested it with Linda's. I said, well, give me your phone. Let me see if it said the same thing. That's what the GPS, that's where the GPS said we were actually at.
How can you go back and find the history of your GPS if you did not log it in?
What do you mean? Mine just comes up. So mine comes up on the maps. Well, mine don't come up on Google Maps. It does on Google Maps.
Because he allows it. He enables it.
But I have GPS on all the time. So I have a little thing the little bubble that pops up and tells me where I'm at, what I'm doing, how long I've been there, stuff like that. And so it's actually double tracked. And I got a thing on here called, where's it at? It's a, where the hell is it? It's not even, it's for, it's a speedometer app, but it's a GPS tracking app as well. And I said it's built-in GPS in it. And I've used that to get me out of tickets, by the way. Cop stopped me one time and said, well, you were doing 70. I said, really? I got home, my GPS said, oh, no, you were doing 65, which was what the speed limit was. So I brought him to court and said, no. I said, they're accurate to 1 mile an hour. They're not like radar. And they take a shot every 1 minute. So I got out of a Texas one like that. The cop stopped and said we were doing 75, we were doing 73. And and they most of the time they'll fire the cop because they have to be lying because the radar tells them what they're doing. It's and that cop in Texas just anyway, we're not going to get into that, but he was definitely some kind of reptilian alien for sure. Some human alien. I'm not sure what the hell kind of alien he was.
Oh, sorry, Michelle, go ahead.
I was just going to ask because it's come back up, not so much in the news, but as I said, social media news. But there have been sightings of reptilians, especially in Los Angeles. They believe that there's a whole tunnel system, and it's been written about going back decades.
Isn't that the headquarters for Scientology?
No, Florida is.
I'm not saying anything bad. I'm saying Florida, I watched.
No, Florida is the capital for Scientology.
Okay. No, because I learned that they believe they came from mud. So I'm wondering if at one point this is something that, started with L. Ron Hubbard or whatever.
It was possible. You never know. Now I think the new capital is going to be in the UK, but it's you never know. I mean, because they don't necessarily believe in reptilians, but they've got some wacky belief in extraterrestrials that kind of.
Well, I remember seeing that they believe they came from mud, and the only thing I can think of with mud with aliens, wouldn't it be reptilians or is it insectoids as well?
So if and don't quote me on this because I'm not. You know what?
I'm genuinely curious.
Well, no. So we got to do an interview on this in the future, but I got an interview coming up with the lady who runs their museum.
Okay.
Because there's just stuff I need to understand, especially about this extraterrestrial stuff. Because the original story I heard was they were on another world, and this extraterrestrial went crazy, captured them all, brought them to a volcano, threw them all in a volcano on Earth, and their spirits were released on our planet, and those spirits became us, and that's what we are today. So whatever the hell that actually means, or actually really is anybody's best guess. So I would like some clarification because. There's another extraterrestrial that mainly showed up in the 40s and 50s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. He was tall, 10, 12 foot tall, kind of hairy, kind of had weird legs, kind of almost like an ostrich-shaped legs, or the way they were designed because they went backwards, like on the movie Arrival. Some other characteristics. But so this thing actually legit looked scary. But it was an alien would show up when other aliens like the Greys or other aliens were taking people. It would show up and rescue the people. Now this story there's about 25 or 30 accounts of this story over the last 5 or 10 decades.
That's a lot.
It's but is it real or is it something that just caught on in the 40s and 50s during the wave of the UFO and alien? I mean, that was like the dynasty when it started for today's modern era anyway. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can't. It was Kufo or Kafis, or I remember hearing his name a couple of times and. It just made me wonder if this was the same alien or what's going on. Let's not forget the Mormons. They're going to the promised land, which freaking isn't on Earth. So
that's what I mean. Like in these different cultures and religions,
and they're not the only one. There's
other
religions that believe that aliens either put us here or coming to get us or something in between. I mean, look, which cult was it that drank the Kool-Aid because the aliens were on the comet coming to get them? Who was that?
Jones.
It's yeah. So I mean. And that was all you see, like, and so much disinformation gets out. Think about it. How many people committed suicide because they thought the aliens waiting for them on Halley's Comet? Really? I'd have looked up at Jim and said, Jim, you drink the Kool-Aid first and I'll think about it after you're gone.
Jim Jones.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. I actually shared this with Michelle this week that.
Oh, and don't forget about the Raelians either. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. The UFO, that UAP, because we don't know what it is, that went through the clouds just before that eclipse. What are your thoughts? What's your take on that?
I had a couple people send me videos of it.
Yes, his name was Jim Jones.
Yeah. So
I had a serial killer.
So I had a couple of videos sent to me of it. So in one video, it just looks like it's here, and then it just kind of puffs through the cloud, and then it's gone.
I sent one of those to you. Yeah.
It might have been the one I seen. And then there was another one I seen that was kind of similar. But the problem with it is it's hard to judge the size. So when the first video I looked, it looked kind of big. I would have said maybe bus size, something along those sizes. Not shape, but size. And then some of the other videos, it looked like maybe it was the size of an F-35 or something, F-22. It's hard to really tell. Whatever it was fast as hell. So
It was very quick. Yeah.
now it could have been a drone, and I'm not going to rule. That's another problem we got today. We have umpteen million drones flying around, so we don't know
Yeah.
what we're seeing all the time. And more people think it's cute to make them look like UFOs. Oh no,
Yeah, it's
there's a
it's
company
not cute.
who delivers products and all, and of course their drones look like UFOs. And so people see, I saw a UFO. Well, no, you saw somebody getting a cup of coffee is what you saw, or something along those lines. It's just so that's going to come into play in the future. So there's going to have to be like a height limit. We're going to have to say, okay, we can't even consider it an extraterrestrial craft unless it's at 5,000 feet or something.
Can we have that clip looked at, like slowed down and frame by frame? Is there someone that can do that? And then we can discuss it further.
I sent it to 2 people I know.
Yeah.
Who does that kind of work. And they said they would get back to me. They actually said some other people had sent it to him. I didn't think about Bruce Maccabee because I could send it to him too and see what he thinks. And
that was just someone who was filming the eclipse that
that's
posted
what
that on social media. Yeah. Did you feel the energy of the eclipse? I did, but I didn't look at it until it was like totality and then it's safe. And I really did feel freezing. And then I felt
all we had was clouds and rains. All we had. We didn't even tell that it even got any darker down here. We had so many clouds.
Yeah.
We fired up some equipment to try to do like spirit communication, and it was spirits were just talking about, oh look, this is amazing. Oh
yes, they weren't worried about you.
Then they said, it's black. And I because the curtains were drawn, and I looked outside and it was black in that moment. But otherwise it was a complete dud.
Yeah.
So much for the energy, 7 planets lined up, comet in the area, super moon. I was expecting something fantastic.
I wonder if that moon,
and it was not so fantastical. Let's put it that way.
What was the name of that comet? Dragon's Death or something? What the hell was it? Death something or another?
I don't know. It was something to do with the dragon, but I wonder if like that moon moving in front of the sun like that just throws everything off and nothing's connecting. Because everything, really lives by those waves, right?
I've had better sessions just like it.
Well, the moon was in the wrong day. It was in the wrong place at the wrong time of day.
Our planet's the only one that does that.
If that's even natural, just saying. If that was even a natural occurrence, because I don't know anymore.
No, I mean you get solar eclipses once a year.
I'm so scared. This is my 3rd eclipse.
So this is just weird. So we're having a discussion the other night about Putin and Trump and stupid war, right? So we're going on and on about that. So all of a sudden this guy goes, he said, well, Joe, he said, we were watching vids of the Ukrainians going back after aircraft that the Russians were putting out. And he said, all of a sudden you see something going from left to right on the screen. He said it looked kind of bluish white. It was flying at about 3,000 feet. It's moving so fast it left a streak. And he said and then it stopped for a second. And when it took back off, he said all the Russian planes quit firing and just turned around and left. He said 2 or 3 of them looked like they were about to fall out the sky. What it was it some type of new drone with some kind of EMP? I don't know. It kind of looked alien, but it kind of looked human. I'm not sure what it was. Whatever it was moving fast. I would have said Mach 7 or faster.
Wow. And, that's like going into space, kind of.
So I'm kind of like, but it didn't take the Russian planes out. They just kind of, you've seen like 3 of them kind of started doing this with their wings and they were having a hard time standing. The engines were fluctuating. The other 5 or 6, whatever, just turned around and went back. And there was a conversation about, it was, and one of the guys said, well, it couldn't have been Putin, but when they asked the Ukraine about it, Ukrainians said they had no idea what it was. They thought it was a gift from another country because they had no idea what it was. And the Russians, of course, said, well, we didn't see it. But yet it turned them around. But it was all because of some conversation we were having about the only president Putin's never invaded under was Trump.
Can we just all get along and stop with all this crap, man? Like seriously.
I'm thinking that there's going to be some changes coming, and I'm hoping there's going to be some UFO good changes coming. Well,
You guys have up and decided not to disclose the United States.
Well, no, so there's some
So,
weird stuff
Again.
going on. So wait, there's some weird
Again.
stuff going on. So the last president instituted Space Command.
right.
Well, if for some reason Cracker Joe decided to keep Space Command, which was a good thing on his part. I've actually met the number 1 and number 2 people over there, thanks to John Goodwin of all people. And so talking to them, they are actively looking. So they have to, when I talked to him, he said they've actually talked to different pilots, different astronauts about things they've seen, how things interacted with our craft. They've interviewed people. They've looked at tape that have been taken that still has not been released to us because it's up close and personal with the space station or with the space shuttle or with one of the other craft. Matter of fact, he said that Elon is so mad because there's a picture, there's a video on when the first time they brought a capsule to the space station, a UFO followed them up and back. They got the whole entire thing on video. He said, there's no doubt it's not ours. He said, because it would stop and it would go around the capsule and then it would come back and it would hover above it.
Elon's transparent on X. He doesn't hold back on anything.
He don't like to, so he's mad about this.
No.
He's the one that said he would protect us from falling nukes on our head. So he's serious when he talks, but
yeah,
he's and then he's got all them satellites there. So come to find out, not all of his satellites are pointed at Earth. His goal is to have 42,000 of these things up there, and probably 10 or 20% are going to be looking into space. And he ain't looking for rocks.
no.
So I think he wants to know what's on Mars. I think because of some recent data suggesting there's probably some type of life on Mars. And then, of course, there's always the rumors that, a bunch of presidents has been brought to Mars and a bunch of other people there's been a colony there since 1972. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But I think he's trying to make sure that there's no aliens using this place before he starts, sending humans over. Because his goal is, I think it's within 10 years, he wants to have 50 ships going and coming with 50 on spare all the time. And they're going to be carrying materials and people. He wants within 20 years to put at least 2 million people on Mars. If the humans decide to blow each other up, I guess we'll all be coming back to Mars next time around.
I don't know. I really appreciate him on X. I don't understand where he has the time to be on there, because you could check at any time of the day and he's posted something.
Because he's got his cell phone with him when he's not.
Yeah, but he's very compassionate with other people.
And
he's very
allowed
kind.
us. He came in and allowed us to find out the truth about our government and what they were doing. It was all really nice.
He does that about everybody. He's very.
And if he can get his hands on any extraterrestrial anything, he already said he would release it because he doesn't think the planet's being visited. So he wants to see it.
That's interesting. But I mean, he doesn't take into fact that we have, for example, reptilians that are terrestrial beings, that there are some terrestrial and dimensional.
He's Elon is
underwater.
Well,
yeah.
Elon is
they're living there.
Yeah, Elon's the kind of guy put up or shut up. If you're going to tell him that something exists, he's going to want to see hardcore evidence.
Well, maybe he needs to start looking in the Earth's
same thing I said. So he was on
to the stars.
He was on, I think, his second time on Joe Rogan, and I was listening.
He's on there a lot.
And so I wrote a thing on it. I was like, well, look, Elon, I said, if you don't think extraterrestrials exist in our galaxy, you're not as smart as I thought you were, dude. I said, don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan of yours. I said, I talk about you on my radio show all the time. I said, but dude, I said, in a galaxy the size of ours with as many stars that we have, and you're saying, we're going to find life in at least 4 places in our solar system, which he agreed with.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. He said, but we need that advanced life. And then so I brought up just before I was leaving, I said, well, don't forget, we just found through Webb. So Webb found a couple of new planets, 3 of which are almost identical to Earth. So they're definitely planets like us we can live on. But one's more important. The 4th one, which is like our planet, they found hydrocarbons in the atmosphere. And guess what that means? That means industrialization. So something has to be alive.
I read that. Yeah.
So something has to be alive there. There's not a guess anymore. If we're alone and with advanced technology, there's someone else out there building technologies at least along the areas we are. So now they're a good ways out. I think they were like 100,000 light years or something. So it's not like they're going to come knocking tomorrow, but they're there. And whether science wants to talk about it or our government wants to talk about it, it's true.
Yeah.
I know they tried like shit to hide it and cover it up, but they couldn't do it. thank God we got Cracker Joe for president because he has no idea what he was looking at. So he just, oh yeah, that looks good. Put that out there, man.
Elder
Yeah.
abuse. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Ozzy
He
said,
is elder abuse. That's
does
true.
X want to help, or is it he wants to be first? He doesn't use the X platform to say that he'll use it and talk about it, but that's not. He bought X because free speech was being
Hindered.
Well,
suppressed.
what's funny about this?
Yeah.
He bought Facebook for $28 billion instead of what he paid for X.
Well, he knows Facebook's dying. That's
And
why.
well, it was, but it seems to have a reinsurgence now. So we'll have to see where it goes. I think because it added WhatsApp and Instagram. It's
no, it's not just that. I can tell you why.
But we all love Facebook. We love you, Facebook. We love you, Mark Zuckerberg.
I don't.
Whatever your Oriental wife is named, we love her too. Ooh.
I hate Mark Zuckerberg. He's permitting pedophile groups on Meta. I've reported them several times, and they're saying that it doesn't go against community standards.
You should get with Marion Delicato about that. That's one of her passions.
Marion Delicato.
Oh, she's an abductee contactee, a fairly famous one, but one of her passions is dealing with anything pedophilia on the internet.
Oh, I just sent everything to LAPD and I'm waiting. And if I don't hear back from them in a week, I'm going to go to the Bureau. And I also sent a bunch of information to Joe Rogan. I sent information to Elon Musk, and I also sent information to Dr. Jordan Peterson. I've been doing this since 2012. I won't stop. They've I've had so many people, and Michelle was one of them that reported that group, that they've renamed. This group has been there for 7 years, and they are encouraging 8 to 15-year-olds to date on their site, but they have to provide a photo first.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, we're popping in towards the end of the show. I don't know where Joe is. We're going to be signing off.
So look, people, before she does all this signing off stuff, I'm going to be in LA in a week, starting Friday and next week.
Oh, it's that time of year?
So I'm going to be out there. Yeah, I'm going out for the 40th anniversary for the Writers of the Future Award. So
will Preston and Dolly be
there?
there?
Okay, then
when
you
I
know
was
what?
just getting ready
You
to
take
ask
that information to the police department when you're there.
Actually, Wayne, I want to talk to you because you need to get on Arthur's quill with me. I was telling that to Michelle the other day. Well, I'm glad I remember that because I got to call Jenny and tell her she's got to come on late Wednesday, Saturday. Well, no, he's an Arthur, and we put Arthurs on the Arthur's quill all the time.
What do you mean I have to get on there?
Not you. Your name is not Wayne.
Oh, I didn't know what you were talking about. I didn't know. Yeah. Okay.
So what were you going to say? So as we're inching to the top of
So
the
anyway, y'all come visit me. Come check out book 40 of Writers of the Future. Come check out. I'll be out there at Writers of the Future for the whole week, causing nothing but trouble. But we will be broadcasting live. So next Friday night, I will be live on News on the Flip Side. So it'll be a live show. We'll be talking about Michelle. And then Saturday, I'll be live on Arthur's Quill. So we'll be doing that. And then we'll be running a special, which will be on later on. This Saturday, we're going to be running a special too. And then all week until the next following Friday, I'll be on my show on Wednesday, live from LA. And then I'll be on the News on the Flip Side again. So I'll be doing 4 shows live from Los Angeles. Yes, people, live from Los Angeles. So if you're in LA and you want to be on the network or you want to be on the show, hit me up and let me know. And Dolly and Preston will be there, so I'm going to see them while they're there.
Yeah, I need one of you to walk into a police station with all that information because this is taking too long. Because the headquarters of this place is in LA. That's why I forgot to mention that.
Oh, in LA, LA is let's just say it's a weird place and leave it at that. I don't think the aliens really like LA.
It doesn't make it okay.
Okay. So that we know what Joe has coming up, and I want to thank him for joining us on the show. Would like to thank our sponsors, being Folgers Coffee, Dr. Snick, aka Justice Snickers, Steve McGinnis. Thank you. We have been live kind of all over the map, but we've been there. We held our own pretty good. So broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network, UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 107.7, 105.3 FM. Please check out the archive on Roku TV, which we have also been live on. Again, being a heartbeat, get those commercials in.
Oh,
Next
wait.
Wednesday-
I got to stop you again.
I'm not done, so
I
it
know, but
better
I
be
got
good,
I got to stop
Let
you.
her
So,
finish,
or-
and then
or-
you.
no, I can't because I'll forget.
or
and
you're
then you won't
fired.
I'll forget. So Michelle hasn't even heard this news yet. So
Maybe
I
we
gotta-
don't want you to tell it here yet.
Go ahead, Joe.
I can let you tell them when you do your next show. We're going to be on all week, so it doesn't have to come out tonight.
Go ahead, Joe.
Okay, so not the boss said I can tell y'all. So y'all know we're on Roku television. So we cut a deal tonight for Fire Stick, maybe Apple and Droid as well. So, but definitely for Apple Stick, we cut a deal today. It was. Let's just say. Oh, let's just say I'm not a nice person when it comes to money. Leave that at that. But anyway, so I just wanted to let y'all know that. So y'all have a choice in the near future, probably within the next month. You'll get to choose whether you want to be watching us on Roku, or if you want to be watching us on Fire Stick, and hopefully we're going to do Apple before we do Droid. Even though we probably have more Droid listeners, we're going to do Apple first because a lot of our station people have Apple, so we're going to do them first.
People have Apple TV.
And
Yeah,
so-
even if
so-
they have a Droid phone, they have Apple TV.
So y'all will be able to catch us in all three of those, and that means you have no excuse not to be watching us anywhere in the effing world.
We are growing, and we've got a lot of new shows coming up too. So, well, we'll leave that there. So, where we were continuing off next Wednesday, guys, we have a brand new guest who's not joined us before, Margie Kay. I know a lot of you guys know her, and we're really pleased to have her coming on. She's going to be talking about her book called Winged Aliens, a theory that winged cryptid creatures are aliens and or interdimensional beings. So that sounds kind of exciting. And of course, Thursday, Preston Dennett, who we all know and love, and he's pretty much a frequent flyer. And he's going to be talking about his book, Not From Around Here, Volume 5. I know. Go, Preston. Just go, go, go. He's just spitting out books. I love it. Anyway, guys, have a fantastic weekend. We will see you next week. Behave yourselves. And sorry about the faux pas that Joe made me do on the show. Yeah, might have to go into private mode for that one. Anyway, good night.
Nah.
Naughty Joe, you're naughty.